To prove the laws of physics, an American scientist risked his life. He stood right in front of a massive demolition pendulum, the kind used to knock down buildings. If that pendulum had swung even an inch beyond its starting point, it could have shattered his ribs. But it didn't. Why? The answer lies in the law of conservation of energy. According to this principle, the pendulum can never swing higher than the point from which it was released unless additional energy is added externally. Since no extra force was applied, the pendulum returned to its original height and stopped, sparing the scientist. Don't try this with your friends or siblings. Physics doesn't protect those who break the rules carelessly.
Shalom. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Bahasham Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere kin. And this is your brother Abawan, once again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Bahasham Rakakwadash, all praises and glory is due. And this is the law of conservation of energy. The law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred from one form to another within a closed system. The total amount of energy remains constant, encompassing kinetic, potential, and thermal energy, such as pendulum converting kinetic energy to potential energy and back. And Esau, Edom, and their science and your sciences, right, falsely so-called, they'll call it physics, which of course that's the term that they'll use, right? But this is just the order which the Most High Yahweh Shai set up on the earth. The reason why physics works, the reason why it's reliable, the reason why science as a whole is repeatable and is able to be documented and repeated, and the experiments work, right, and can be predicted, is because of the order which the Most High Yahweh Shai has set up on the earth. Let me get a quick precept, okay? Let me just get this precept before I go into anything. Before I say anything else I want to say, let me get this precept real quick. Let's get this. After all, it's not written that the Most High Yahweh is not the author of confusion, right? Let's get that. So this is the book of 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33. For the Most High Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints, right? And the Heavenly Father is not the author of confusion, which is why you see that science as a whole is even possible, because that's what a lot of these unbelievers that are in the world, they like to do, right? They like to act as though, and this is just another one of the deceptions that Esau, Edom has set up, right? That because we have science now, so-called science, right? Because we have science, right? That now that we no longer have any reason, now that you no longer have any reason to believe in the Heavenly Father or believe in the Most High, because science basically explains everything, which of course it doesn't, right? But the question I always have is, how does science existing make the Most High, Yahweh Sham Yahushai, any less real, right? And that's really the question that you have for a lot of these jakes out here, a lot of these, not jakes out here especially, that believe in this whole atheism and talk about how science has replaced the Most High. And even this devil, right, Noah Yuval Harari, said the same thing. He said, oh, there's no longer a need for God anymore because we are able to do great things, right, with science. But what that devil, right, Noah Yuval Harari won't tell you is that the reason why Esau is able to do great things, right, is because it is the power that the Heavenly Father has given to Esau to be able to do that, right? In the book of Job 9 verse 24, where it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. In the book of Ezekiel 28 verse 3, where it says, thou art wiser than Daniel, there is nothing that is secret from thee. The Heavenly Father has already given Esau Edom the power to be able to do all the quote-unquote great things and the miracles that he is doing on the earth, right? So you're not doing this because of science or because you as a man were able to find out these miraculous inventions, right? Oh, God didn't want us to create the cell phone, but we did anyway, right? That's not the case, okay? Because everything that you see that exists in this world was set up by the Heavenly Father. After all, it's not written, and we'll get that precept as well. And the Most High had made both the smith and the coal. And I believe that's how the precept goes. But let's get that. Let's get that. Let's get that. So this is the book of Isaiah 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coal in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. Right. And basically, this is speaking, of course, of the nuclear missile. What is nuclear technology if not a part of science or a creation, right? Falsely so-called of science. Okay. And what this just shows you is that the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, not only did he create the man that made the invention, but he created the invention itself as well, right? The uranium that you had to dig out of the ground in order to create your nuclear technology. You know, the matter, right? The energy, the potential energy and the kinetic energy that you have to calculate in order to get your conservation of energy. All these things were created by the Heavenly Father, right? The Most High, however, Hashem Yahushai, and they were created in that way so that it would be, so you would even be able, right, to be, so you will even be able to create the law of conservation of energy. Why? Because the Most High, however, Hashem Yahushai, created energy in a way in which it is able to transfer its state from one point to another. You know, because you can't really, because obviously the Heavenly Father can create and destroy energy, right? And in the kingdom we also have that ability as well. It's obvious that Esau is not yet advanced enough to be able to know how to create or destroy energy, which is why you have the law of conservation of mass. Okay. And the next precept I want to bring out is that it is the let's get that precepts. Let's find that precept. And we can find it. Basically, I forget how that precept goes. That it is the will of the Heavenly Father to hide a secret, and it is the glory of kings to uncover it. Right, let's get that precept real quick. Or it's easy to hide a thing. Let me see if I can remember how that precept goes. That is the Heavenly Father hides a thing, right, and the king goes and seeks it out. Forget where that precept is at. I think it's either hide or hideth. Okay, let me try conceal. Alright, here it is. So this is the book of Proverbs 25 verse 2. It is the glory of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search it out, right? And this is, of course, mainly going into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? Well, of course, you know that Esau Edom is also, you know, of course, on the left-hand side, using the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but on the left-hand side, because in order to deceive the world, right, you have to actually know the truth. And this is how we know that Esau Edom actually knows the truth, or at least knows it to some level, which is why he is able to deceive the whole world, because we that are in this truth, and only we that are in this truth, the men of the Lord, right, from the starting from the elders and the apostles of the great millstone on down, we have the 100% truth, right? But that does not mean that just because, you know, just because the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is dealing with us, that means that we are the only ones that have the truth, right? Of course, we know that the elites of Esau Edom, they also know the truth. They know who the true Israelites are. They know who the Most High is, and they know the true nationality and the true heritage and their faith and everything, right? But we have the 100% truth of the Most High, and they have the truth on the left-hand side, which is why they are able to create all these wicked inventions, right? They are able to, you know, go and build these spaceships to go out into the atmosphere, into the higher atmosphere, right? They create all these satellites to basically build up the internet. And recently, you know, there was this satellite, right? The Artemis 2. Let's get that. The Artemis 2. And what the satellite did is that it found, or it basically created a picture of the Earth, right? This Artemis 2 right here. So this is the article. Artemis 2 crew now halfway to moon as they take spectacular image of Earth, right? And apparently this is supposed to be a big deal, which is funny because according to ESO science, okay, we have already been on the moon before in 1948. No, 1968. Like, yeah, 1968 to be specific. To be specific. So to be specific. So um, close to 60 years ago, right? But yet, NASA, right, and ESA has been unable to put another man on the moon since all that time. And normally, right, technology improves, it gets better, and it gets easier to create and innovate, okay? But for some strange reason, going to the moon and space travel is still something that is so difficult to do that last year all of Elon Musk's ships that he was trying to launch into space ended up, crashing and burning and falling back into, or rather back to the earth, right? But let's read a little bit of this article because it's still going into what we're talking about, right? Which is that the everything is set up under the order of the Most High, however, Hashem Yahushai, and the heavens and the earth are set up, right? And let's get that precept. The heavens and the earth are set up, under the rule of the Most High, Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai. So let's get this real quick. Just to go into this. So this is the book of. So this is the book of Second Peter 3 verse 7. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. And the scriptures are manifold. So this heaven and earth doesn't just mean the actual heavens, right? But it also means it can mean the heavens, right? But it can also mean rulership, right? And the inhabitants, the people that are being ruled over. The heavens, of course, represents the rulership of Esau, Edom, the so-called red man, and the earth also represents those that are on the earth, the peoples and nations and multitudes and tongues, okay? Right, well, I'm trying to use this in context of both the actual heavens, which are the Shamayam, and the earth, the Aidan, okay, or Ba'arash, right, like I've forgotten how they say earth in the Hebrew. It's a brain fart, so okay, I remember it. But Aratazas, like Aratazar, not remember Aratazar, the heavens and the earth, like the actual heavens, which is space, okay, the sky, the atmosphere, and the earth, which is the planet Earth itself, okay. So your laws of physics, your scientific laws, at least the ones that align with the scriptures, were all set up by the Heavenly Father, and that was how and that's an insight, showing you how the world was created, right? Because the idea that the Heavenly Father just magicked the world into existence without any laws or any rules, right? It's ridiculous, okay? Because if men on the earth have laws that we have to abide by, why would the sun, the moon, the stars, the other bodies as well not have laws that are set up by them, that are set up for them by the Heavenly Father? And that's basically where you get your laws of physics and biology and so on and so forth from. And of course, you already know how Esau operates. He goes off a lot when it comes to his science, right? And when it comes to his scientific and natural laws. But even these devils have to bring out the truth every once in a while, right? But yeah, going back to this right here, the Artemis 2. Now, reading the article, NASA has shared the first high-resolution images of the Earth taken by the Artemis 2 crew as they pass the halfway point between the Earth and the Moon. So, okay, I just want to quickly get something first, is the Artemis 2 only high resolution? Because this article said something funny where it says that the Artemis 2 took the first high resolution pictures of the Earth. So I'm trying to figure out if the Artemis 2 is the only, if the pictures from the Artemis 2 are the only high resolution pictures of the Earth that ESO has taken. So yeah, here it is. No, the Artemis 2 is not the only source of high resolution Earth images, but its April 2026 images are unique as the first human captured high resolution photos of the full Earth disk from deep space over 40,000 miles away since the Apollo era. They provide a rare, crude perspective of the planets. Right, so basically the Artemis 2 is a spacecraft that is, in space. I guess it's manned actually. And it's funny because it's funny because if you go online right now, you go online and you scour the internet, you're going to be seeing people talking about this. Oh, the Artemis 2 just sent pictures of the Earth. Flat earthers are in shambles, which of course, we that are in this truth, you don't believe in the flat Earth. Okay, we know that the Earth is actually a sphere, right? You know that the Earth is actually a sphere. It's actually round. Okay, because even the scriptures, go into that about how the Earth is rounded up, about how the Earth is basically rounded upon its corners, right? Rounded in its like the circumference of the Earth, right? Rounded upon it. Like I don't know how to say, but round in its corners. Okay, so through the scriptures that the Earth is round, right? But we also know that Esau Edom is the devil, which the Bible speaks of, and his deception, and he has deceived the world, when it comes to space travel and what he truly is capable of when it comes to, traveling out of the earth. Okay, because these devils have truly never been outside of the earth's atmosphere, which is why going halfway to the moon is such a big deal. 60 years or close to 60 years after they actually did go to the moon, right, with inferior technology. You had like computers that with like four you had computers with like 4 kilobytes of RAM, right, that did all the calculations to go to the moon. But now we have AI and all kinds of super fast integrated computer technology, right? But they can't do the calculation to send another crew to the moon after over 60 years. And that's suspicious as hell, right? But we know that, like I said, when Esau's science, but we already know that Esau's science is all very, very questionable, right? But going back to this, okay, or rather going back to the original reason for the video, which is that we see the reason why you are able to even have a science in the first place is because the Heavenly Father has set up the earth with these rules and these laws, right? That Esau Edom is discovering. Your laws of physics, the conservation of energy, which is why you're able to even do these little pendulum experiments that shows you the order which the Most High set up on the earth, where you can reliably repeat that experiment, multiple times and get the same result, the same way that we that are in this truth, and this is the point right here, we that are in this truth are able to rely upon the words of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You see, Esau is calling it physics, right? Esau will call it physics, right? They say that, oh, it's conservation of energy, it's physics. That's why, we're able to practice and repeat these laws. But what they don't understand is that what it actually is the laws of the Heavenly Father. Because the Lord can do that exact same thing, right? And because we trust in the words of the Most High, we know that, yes, that even if we swing that pendulum, right, it won't hit us back in the face, because the Heavenly Father has set up the earth, right, set up gravity, and set up everything on the earth in a way in which we are able to practice and do the same experiment, right, in a controlled environment, of course, the same way that we are able to trust in the words of the Heavenly Father when he speaks in the scriptures. Let's go to that in the book of Psalms, right? Is it Psalms or I think it's Isaiah? Yeah, it should be Isaiah. That's why we're able to trust in the word of the Most High, the words of the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushai, right, when he speaks. Isaiah 55 verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it can. So the idea that science and the scriptures and the Heavenly Father are mutually exclusive is not true, right? Because the Most High, Yahweh Sham Yahushai, that has set up your science. Because what is science? Science in the Latin is simply knowledge, okay? So all science is just the knowledge base that Esau has, which of course, like I say, man, and I always have to put this disclaimer. A lot of it is false and incorrect, but for the most part, man, let me not say for the most part, let's just be real. A lot of it is false, right? But Esau still has to sprinkle in some truths in there, right? Because that's the titular form of deception, sprinkling the truth with the lies. So Esau still has to sprinkle in some truth into his science, right, in order to deceive the people. But at the end of the day, right, the science, okay, the order is set up by the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushai, which is why you're able to even do these experiments. And the same word from the Most High Yahweh Sham Yahushai that set up the laws of physics is the same word that prophesied the downfall and the destruction of Esau, Edom, the so-called red man. So with that, I'll end the video right there. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakakwadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit of Yakim, and your were edified. Shalom.